Washington State, 2008. A 17-year-old kid just broke into a locked airplane and he's about to fly it across 3 states. He has 0 pilot training, never sat in a real cockpit, never touched real controls. Everything he knows about flying comes from a video game, Microsoft Flight Simulator. That's it. It's 3 a.m. A small airport in Washington State. The Cessna 182 sits on the tarmac, dark and quiet. Colton Harris-Moore picks the lock on the door, climbs into the pilot's seat. The cockpit is more complicated than the game. More switches, more dials, more things that can go wrong. But he's studied this. Watched YouTube videos of pilots starting engines, read stolen flight manuals by flashlight in the woods. He knows the sequence. Battery on, fuel pump, mixture rich, throttle cracked, magnetos to both, starter. The propeller spins, the engine catches. The plane is alive. He's never done this before. Never taxied, never taken off, never landed. But he's done it 1,000 times in the game. He releases the brakes. The Cessna rolls forward. Too fast. He taps the brakes. Learns the feel. The plane taxis toward the runway. No tower, no clearance, no permission. He lines up with the center line, pushes the throttle forward. The engine roars. The plane accelerates. 50 knots, 60, 70. He pulls back on the yoke. The nose lifts. The wheels leave the ground. Colton Harris-Moore, high school dropout, no pilot's license, wanted by police in 3 counties, is flying. He banks east, climbs to 5,000 feet, disappears into the night sky. Behind him, the stolen Cessna's empty parking spot won't be noticed until morning. By then, he'll be 300 miles away. This is his first plane. Over the next 2 years, he'll steal 4 more. And he's about to become the most wanted teenager in America. Now pause for a second. A 17-year-old just stole and flew an airplane using skills from a video game. That shouldn't be possible. Professional pilots train for years. Colton trained on Microsoft Flight Simulator. So how did he do it? And more importantly, why planes? Camano Island, Washington, 2006. 2 years earlier, a 15-year-old breaks into someone's house, not for jewelry, not for cash, but to play a video game on their computer. The owners are on vacation. Colton broke in 3 days ago. He's not here for valuables, he's here for the PC. On the screen, Microsoft Flight Simulator. He's been playing for 16 hours straight. No food breaks, no sleep, just flying. Takeoff, navigation, landing, crash, restart, again. Most kids play this game for fun. Colton is studying it like a final exam he can't afford to fail. He's memorized the instrument panel, every dial, every switch, every gauge, altimeter, airspeed indicator, vertical speed, heading, fuel. He knows what they all mean, not from a classroom, from repetition. He crashes the virtual plane, studies what went wrong, adjusts, tries again. And here's the thing. He's not just playing, he's stealing flight manuals from small airports, reading them by flashlight in the woods where he's been hiding from police, matching the procedures in the manuals to the controls in the game, learning the language, mixture rich for takeoff, carb heat on for landing, trim for climb, words that mean nothing to most people, words that will keep him alive in a real cockpit. He practices emergency procedures, engine failure, electrical failure, how to glide, how to find a place to crash land without dying. By the time the homeowners return from vacation, Colton is gone. The house is clean. Nothing stolen except some food and knowledge. Hundreds of hours of flight training. Free. Stolen. Self-taught. Colton isn't studying Flight Simulator because he loves planes. He's doing it because he's been hunted by police since he was 12 years old. And he just realized something brilliant. Everyone's watching the roads. Nobody's watching the sky. What he does next will turn him into a legend. and a fugitive with the FBI, Homeland Security, and half of America trying to catch him. Now, you're probably asking the same question everyone asks. How is a 12-year-old running from police for years? Where does he live? Where are his parents? What the hell is actually going on here? The answer is darker than you think, and it starts with a childhood that made hiding in the wilderness feel like freedom. Camano Island, Washington, 1991 to 2006. Colton Harris-Moore was 8 years old the first time he stole food from a grocery store. Not because he wanted to, because he was starving. His mother was an alcoholic who spent money on bottles instead of groceries. His father wasn't in the picture. The house had holes in the walls and no heat in winter. Some nights, there was no food at all. So Colton learned to steal. Bread, canned soup, whatever he could fit under his jacket. Teachers saw the bruises, the dirty clothes, the kid who came to school hungry every day. But nobody did anything. The system looked the other way. By 12, he had his first arrest, stealing a bicycle. By 13, he was breaking into vacation homes on the island, not for money or TVS, for warmth, for food, for a place where nobody would hit him. At 14, they sent him to juvenile detention. He lasted 3 weeks. Then, he escaped. And here's where most kids would run home, or to a friend, somewhere safe. Colton ran into the forest, the Pacific Northwest wilderness, dense trees, freezing rain, mountains that could kill you if you didn't know what you were doing. He was 14 years old, and he chose the forest over civilization, because the forest didn't hurt him. The forest didn't yell, didn't drink, didn't lock him in rooms. So he learned to survive. He built shelters from branches and stolen tarps, figured out which berries wouldn't poison him, how to stay dry in constant rain, how to move through the woods without leaving tracks. For months, he lived like this. A ghost on Camano Island. The police knew he was out there somewhere. They searched, set up patrols. But Colton knew the island better than they did. He'd disappear for weeks, then break into a house while the owners were at work, shower, eat, sleep in a real bed, and vanish before sunrise. Sometimes he'd leave chalk drawings on the walls, little sketches, his way of saying, "I was here." The locals called him the boy in the woods. By 15, Colton had been living this way for over a year. No parents, no school, no home, just survival. And that's when he found the airports, small airstrips scattered across the island, unlocked hangars, planes sitting unguarded like they were waiting for someone. He'd slip inside at night, sit in the cockpit, study the instrument panel, read the flight manuals pilots left in the seats. And he started thinking. Police could follow cars. They had roadblocks, license plate readers, helicopters. But planes? Planes crossed state lines in hours. Planes didn't stop at borders. And if you crash-landed in the wilderness, the place Colton knew better than anyone, you disappear completely. Planes weren't just transportation. They were freedom. You already know what happened next. You saw him breaking into houses to play flight simulator. You saw him steal flight manuals from airports. And you saw him take that first plane in 2008. But here's what you don't know. What was the actual plan? Where was he trying to go? And how did a 17-year-old think he could keep stealing planes without getting caught? Washington State, 2008, 4:30 a.m. Colton Harris-Moore is flying a stolen Cessna 182 at 5,000 feet. He's been in the air for 90 minutes. The sky is starting to lighten. Dawn is coming. And dawn means someone will see him. So he needs to land, now. The problem, he's never landed a plane before. In Flight Simulator, you crash and restart. Here, you crash and die. He scans the ground below. Dense forest, mountains, a few small towns. Then he spots it. An old airstrip. Overgrown, cracked pavement, but flat enough. He reduces throttle. The plane descends. His hands shake on the controls. The airstrip rushes up. Too fast. He's coming in too fast. He pulls back. The nose lifts. The wheels slam down hard. The plane bounces. Hits again. Skids across rough pavement. He stomps the brakes. The Cessna shudders. Veers left into the grass. For a second, it feels like it's going to flip. Then it stops. Colton sits there, breathing hard. Engine ticking as it cools. He just flew 300 miles and landed. Alive. He cuts the engine, grabs his backpack, climbs out. The stolen Cessna sits crooked in the grass behind him. But Colton is already walking into the forest. By the time police find the plane 6 hours later, he's 40 miles away. And he's thinking, here's what just happened. He stole a plane in Washington state, flew it to Idaho. The Washington police can't chase him across state lines. And Idaho police don't even know he exists yet. Cars leave trails, license plates get tracked, witnesses see you at gas stations. But planes? Planes let you disappear across borders in hours, and if you crash land in the wilderness, nobody finds you for days. Maybe weeks. That's the plan. Not complicated, not long-term, just simple. When the police get too close in one state, steal a plane, and fly to another. Start over. Clean slate, new hunting ground. It's not about escaping America. It's not about running to another country. It's just about staying one step ahead, one state ahead, one flight ahead. And over the next 18 months, that's exactly what Colton does. He steals plane number 2, then 3, then 4. Each time, he crash lands. Each time, he walks away. Each time, he vanishes into the wilderness while police search the wrong state. Washington to Idaho. Idaho to South Dakota. South Dakota to Indiana. The FBI starts connecting the dots. Teenage fugitive, stolen aircraft, crash landings in remote areas. They give him a name, the Barefoot Bandit. By 2010, Colton Harris-Moore has stolen 4 planes. The FBI knows his face, his methods, his pattern, but they still can't catch him. Now stop and think about this for a second. A teenager is stealing airplanes, not candy bars, not bikes, airplanes. And the entire FBI can't stop him. Crazy, right?
If you're hooked on this story, do me a favor and subscribe. It keeps us going.
Now, what happens next will absolutely blow your mind, because Colton is planning one final flight. And this one will be the most insane escape attempt in modern history. Indiana, July 2010. Colton Harris-Moore breaks into a small airport outside Indianapolis at 2 a.m. He's done this 4 times before, but this time is different. This time, he's not flying to the next state. He's flying to the Bahamas, across the ocean, over 1,000 miles of open water in a single-engine plane he's never flown before. Most experienced pilots wouldn't attempt this without extensive preparation, navigation equipment, and a filed flight plan. Colton has none of that. What he has is a Cessna 400 Corvallis, a full tank of fuel, and a plan so insane it might actually work. He climbs into the cockpit, starts the engine, taxis to the runway, and takes off into the night sky, pointing the nose southeast toward the Atlantic Ocean. The flight should take about 7 hours if everything goes perfectly. But nothing about this is perfect. Colton has no GPS, no radio communication with air traffic control, no weather updates, no backup plan if the engine fails over the ocean. He's navigating by compass and dead reckoning, the same way pilots flew 100 years ago. The first 2 hours are easy, flying over land, lights below, marking towns and highways. But then he crosses the Florida coast and everything changes. Below him, nothing but black water. Above him, stars, no landmarks, no reference points, just the endless Atlantic and the sound of the engine. If the engine quits now, he's dead. No gliding to an emergency landing. No crashing in the woods and walking away. Just a long fall into dark water. He keeps flying. 3 hours. 4 hours. 5. The fuel gauge drops steadily. He does the math in his head. Does he have enough fuel? He thinks so. Maybe. The sun starts rising ahead of him, light spreading across the water. And then, on the horizon, he sees it. Land. The Bahamas. A chain of islands scattered across turquoise water, like something from a postcard. He's actually going to make it. Think about what just happened. A 19-year-old kid with no formal pilot training just flew a stolen plane across 1,000 miles of ocean. Alone, at night, with nothing but a compass. One engine failure, one navigation mistake, one fuel miscalculation, and he'd be at the bottom of the Atlantic. But he's here, looking down at the Bahamas. Freedom. Now comes the hard part. He needs to land. But he can't just fly into an airport. Customs would arrest him the second he stepped off the plane. Immigration would see he has no passport, no documents, no legal way to be here. So Colton does what he always does. He improvises. He spots a beach on the eastern side of Great Abaco Island. Long, empty, no people, no buildings, just white sand and palm trees. Perfect. He lines up his approach, drops lower. The beach rushes up to meet him. This is going to hurt. The wheels hit soft sand. Immediately, the plane starts sinking. The nose dips forward. The propeller strikes the beach and explodes into shards of metal spraying across the sand. The Cessna skids, tilts, buries itself halfway into the beach before finally stopping. For a moment, Colton just sits there, heart pounding, hands shaking, ears ringing from the impact. Then he opens the door and steps out. Warm, tropical air hits his face, the sound of waves, the smell of salt water. He's standing on a Bahamian beach, 1,000 miles from the FBI, outside American jurisdiction, outside their reach. Colton Harris-Moore just pulled off the most insane escape in modern history. He's free. If you're thinking right now that Colton finally escaped his problems, you're wrong. Because at this exact moment, everything is about to go catastrophically wrong. And what happens next will be the worst nightmare he's ever faced. Bahamian police are already racing toward the crash site. Locals called it in within minutes of the plane hitting the beach. But Colton doesn't know that yet. He's sitting in the sand next to the wrecked Cessna, still processing what just happened. He flew across the ocean, navigated by compass, crash-landed on a tropical island, and survived. Within 2 hours, Bahamian authorities know exactly who he is. The FBI has already sent them everything: photos, fingerprints, a complete criminal profile, and a very clear message. This kid is dangerous, and we want him back. But here's the problem Colton didn't think about. The Bahamas isn't America. It's a small island nation where everyone knows everyone. You can't disappear into a forest for months like he did in Washington. You can't steal a car and drive to another state, because there are no other states. It's an island, 70 miles long, surrounded by ocean. And the Bahamian police know every road, every house, every hiding spot. Colton realizes this too late. He spends the first night hiding in the brush near the beach. By morning, he's starving. So he does what he always does. He breaks into a house, steals food, clothes, a little cash. But the homeowner comes back early, sees the broken window, calls the police. Now the entire island knows he's here. Police set up roadblocks, check every car, every boat, every plane leaving the island. Tourists start posting on social media. The Barefoot Bandit is on our island. Becomes a game for some of them. Spot the fugitive. Take a photo. The net is closing. Colton tries to stay ahead. He breaks into another house, then another, stealing food, changing locations every few hours. But this isn't the Pacific Northwest wilderness. This is a tourist island with security cameras, neighborhood watch groups, and police who actually respond quickly. By day 3, Colton is desperate, cornered, hunted on an island with nowhere left to hide. And that's when he does what he always does when there's no way out. He makes one last insane move. At 3 a.m. on July 11th, 2010, he finds a speedboat docked at a marina. The owner made a rookie mistake and left the keys in it. Colton doesn't hesitate. He steals the boat and races into the dark ocean. One final escape attempt. One final gamble, heading for another island, any island, just away from the police closing in from every direction. The Bahamian police get the call immediately. Stolen boat. They know it's him. They launch pursuit boats. Fast ones, with lights and sirens and officers with guns. Colton pushes the throttle to maximum. The boat skims across dark water. He can see the police lights behind him, getting closer. He's done this before. Outrun police, disappear. But not on the ocean. Not in a boat he doesn't know how to operate properly. The engine starts sputtering. He didn't check the fuel, didn't check anything, just ran. The boat slows. The engine coughs, dies. Colton is dead in the water, literally. The police boats surround him, lights everywhere, voices shouting over loudspeakers in accents he barely understands.
Stop the boat! Hands up! Do not move!
Colton stands there on the deck of a dead speedboat in the middle of Bahamian waters, surrounded. Nowhere to run, no plane to steal, no forest to hide in. For 2 years, he's been one step ahead of everyone. FBI, police across 5 states, Homeland Security. He stole 5 planes, crashed everyone, walked away every time, became a legend. July 11th, 2010. Colton Harris-Moore's run is over. He's extradited to the US, pleads guilty, and gets 6.5 years in federal prison. Released in 2016. Sometimes the impossible is possible if you're crazy enough to try.